So right on right, Sumigaishi. For this one, I like to do it from a post where we both come out and we're both gonna post on each other's chest. My hand's gonna be high so that it's on top of my opponent's hand. That way I can hit it down and I can get my hand to the back of their neck and I get a good solid grip from collar and neck. Now to set this up, I really wanna make sure that I can roll my shoulder and trap my partner's hand in here so that when I rotate through, he's gonna have a difficult time reaching out. Sometimes the hand slips out, sometimes it doesn't. It really depends on how much of a commitment they wanna make to that post. And I can get them to make a bigger commitment by doing a couple flinches and fakes, which we'll go over in a second. But for now, let's take a look at the basics of the throw. My partner's gonna have his right foot forward. A little bit more to me, there you go. And then turn at the angle, there you go. Okay, so his right foot is forward and we're at this angle where you can see that I've rolled this so that it's in line with the near shoulder to me. I don't want him to be over here because then he's too far away. I kind of want to drag this hand across his body. So from this angle, if I'm in front and he's reaching straight out, I want this hand across on that side of his shoulder. So I really want him at an angle here where when he reaches out in front of me, I can cross him. I can cross his body naturally by holding on to that gi. That way I can cheat in front. And now you can see that he's at a little bit of a funny angle where his off balance point is now in the direction I need to do the sumi. Okay? So setting this throw up once we're gripping is really important. Come back for a second. So when he comes out and he's leading with that right leg, I want him to commit and I want to be walking to my left so that I can throw that hand over the top and I can just throw his body out of alignment. Okay? We're coming out, I'm posting, he's posting, I'm letting my shoulder roll back so that I can step and I can roll that shoulder forward to move. Okay? He reaches, roll it, and throw that hand high to his neck. Okay? Now that I have that grip and we have that all set up, let's work on controlling the head and then dealing with his stance. Okay, I'm in a good position. I have a good grip. In order to get his head to come in, I'm basically gonna turn and put my foot down hard, okay? All I'm gonna do is there, and now I have him. Where his head is closed, it's stuck, his hand is inside here, and a lot of times when I do that, I can get people to flinch where they'll sink their weight a little bit, anticipating a big hip throw, okay? Because I've shown them the leg. I didn't just take a hard step. I actually showed them the leg, like I want to come across for an Osoto or something of that nature. And what happens is as I throw this leg up and I stomp, this leg will actually go back because they don't want me to hook it. Okay, if I throw my leg up hard enough, that leg will go back. And now I have a perfect angle where I can sit back and throw him over that corner. Okay? So that foot's going to be forward. As I post, I'm going to roll that shoulder, set my grip, hold his head in nice and tight. As I show that leg, and he steps back. Now I can sit through on this technique, no problem, where I take a little step in, and then I follow with my other leg. And I go right up to the inside of his leg, throw him up and over the corner, and then try to secure the pin, okay? Let's go straight on for this one. We're both gonna reach at the same time. I'm gonna roll that shoulder back, making sure that he's stretched, okay? From this side actually. I want you guys to really understand that I'm setting this up from the very beginning. And me being able to roll that shoulder back, causing him to overextend, really helps me to really power my hip back forward into the technique and throw his body out of whack, which makes him weaker. Okay, so I roll that shoulder back, boom. I throw that hand and I'm here. When I'm in this position, even if he's pushing me really hard, over time, I feel like I'm always able to eventually break that arm down. Okay, I'm gonna show him the leg, change that angle, and come back, okay? Sometimes the partner, they just don't react, okay? So every once in a while, you'll run into a guy who's like, you know what, I don't believe you. I don't think you could throw me with Osoto. So sometimes you actually have to make a really good attack on that Osoto and get him to step out. Maybe you score, maybe you don't, okay? But you're gonna need some sort of attack against that front leg so that when you raise it, he'll move it back the second and third time you do it because you've come close to scoring. Okay, let's take a look at the throw one more time from the beginning. We're here, he reaches, I roll back, I throw it, I clinch, I come in, throw him up and over the side, okay, with a nice, easy Sumigaishi from a collar and neck grip, right on right. So now we're gonna take a look at a right on right version for Sumigaishi done from a Russian grip. Okay, for those of you guys who don't know, Russian grip, which we refer to here in the States, is this, where I'm either holding the sleeve and coming down the back, or I'm holding the collar and coming down the back. We could talk about hooking in, Osotos, Uchimatas, all those different things from that grip. Right now, we're gonna talk about Sumi, okay? And for me, the big thing is the angle, okay? One of the things that made my Sumi really successful on the international stage was one, I had really good newaza, but two, my angle was different than everybody else's, okay? A lot of times when people come in Sumi here, what they try to do, let's turn the phone a little bit. What they try to do is they try to just sit and go straight backwards and then roll them right over the top. And it can be fairly easy to defend or just get out of, or basically stand there and then the person's butt just never really touches the floor. My angle is gonna be a little bit different, and what I'm gonna do is when I sweep in, I bring him out and around my head because of the natural defense. So if we come in at an angle over here, where I come down his back, let's look me through here the camera. I'm not gonna come in straight, okay? I'm actually gonna cheat that corner, and I'm gonna sit right next to him, okay? That way, when I go to put my shoulder on the floor, I'm pulling him, he's gonna shuffle sideways. Shuffle, 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 and then my hook can go to work between his legs, and I can bring him around my head, okay? And some of you might be thinking while you watch this, well, I would never go that way. But when you're in competition and you're doing randori, you actually would, because normally speaking, when somebody does a Sumi, if I sit in and you actually jump to this side, okay? If I sit and you jump to that side, you actually go in the direction of my throw, okay? Traditionally speaking, not the way I'm sitting, you don't, but for people normally sitting straight back, you could roll right into the technique. So what a lot of people try to do is they try to jump to the other side to avoid it. And what I do is I basically just cut a little bit of an angle when I'm in this position. So when I sit, I'm basically gonna sit like I would for a Yoko Tomonagi, where I'm gonna sit underneath there. And now this foot's gonna go to work down here. And I'm gonna start pushing, pushing, pushing. And you can see this shoulder is stuck. And I can roll him right over the top and for the finish, okay? This is one of those ones where when you're going live, it's easier to feel than when you're practicing. But again, I'm gonna start here with that post, okay? When I'm here on the chest, and what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna do is when I'm here, I'm basically gonna shuffle to the side, and I'm gonna snap his head past, okay? Just with this grip. Boom, and I can pull him in. And now I'm in nice and tight. I'm pulling that collar as tight through my armpit as I can. The setup's really important here. So when we're in here and we're fighting, I'm looking for that sleeve and I can't get it. Boom, snap it, catch it, and now I can sit through. Roll him over the top, and then come up and secure the pin relatively easily, okay? And again, sometimes when we're in this position, guys will post on their head, and if you've ever seen some of my highlights, you'll see me actually holding guys up with that hook, where they're stuck on the head, where I have to find that angle down here. When I sit, and I'm sweeping, I'll get kind of stuck.
because I'm not sure, do they want to go this way and hit their back? Do they want to go that way? Do they want to go straight back? You find that balancing act where he's basically doing a handstand and you're like this and you're like, where does he go? Where does he go? And eventually they hit somewhere on their side or their back for a good solid score. Okay, so let's take a look at this at a little bit faster pace where I'm in here and I'm playing and then basically boom, snap it in, maybe do a little hold, you move them around. Okay, boom. And then I carry myself because I have that right hook all the way over his body. Because that right leg is between his legs, I can use it as a guide to figure out where he wants to go. Okay, one more time. We're in this position, okay? I've also been known to go here and two collars, move people, then throw it high, okay? Snap, change, pull, and I get that good commitment here from my partner on my tricep, which is where I want that hand anyways, right? I can come here, pull, push, get that good commitment, make him step back, slide on, roll all the way up and around. Here's my underhook, come up and secure him for the pin if I need it. Okay, a lot of times I didn't need it, we could just throw a free pump. So that's going to be the basics of a Russian grip, right on right Sumigaishi that I used to use all the time. So now we're going to do a Sumigaishi from just the sleeve, okay? And this really has a lot to do with how you lock your hands and how you set this up. There are so many different ways of getting into this position that I don't really want to go over too many. I'm just going to give you guys a very basic one. And then once you get to the position here, right, where you can get his arm bent, you can figure out all the different ways you can get here. Okay, just play around with it, use your imagination, and see what happens when you're doing randori. This also works very well when you're on the ground. When somebody's in turtles, a lot of times you can just lock it up off people's false attacks. But I'm gonna start with my grip here on the end of the sleeve that I like to use when I'm holding the end of the sleeve. And a lot of times when you're holding onto this, guys will play defense by basically keeping this hand up and framed right here. That way, no matter what you try to do, this hand is always framed, okay? And he's able to basically just keep it here and block you at all times, right? No matter what you try to do, that hand is basically just gonna be here to hit you, and you just feel like you're not gonna be able to really get anything off with it there. Okay, so while his hand is up here and you can't quite bring it down, like you tried to bring it down, it's just not working, what we're gonna do is we're gonna 2-on-1 it, where I'm gonna basically grab him by his hand and his thumb. I'm not gonna grab the individual thumb, I want the hand. The thumb, A, it's illegal, but B, it's a waste, okay? You wanna try to move his whole arm, and I'm gonna use my body to do it. I'm basically gonna drive my knee through, and I'm gonna get a big pull so that I can come around and I can lock my hands, okay? The big thing is when you hit that pull, you need his body to move, okay? Go back to this. When you're in this position, don't just do one of those because he's just gonna step in, he's gonna body lock you, and he's gonna throw you on your head, okay? So I need to make sure I'm actively pulling him with it, which is why I want the whole hand here. Big pull into position where your weight is evenly distributed and you can squat. Big pull in. I'm gonna go right tight to his armpit, and I'm not gonna go to his wrist. I'm going to go to my own wrist. Relax. My own wrist, okay? It's gonna go around his arm and to my own wrist. To my own wrist, okay? While maintaining the grip on the end of the sleeve here, okay? I have my grip, big pull here. Around, and I grab my own wrist. His hand is free floating right now. Most people in this situation tuck it in tight to the body. That's what's gonna give me this leverage to basically sit, roll straight back, throw him over the top, and then work myself up to try to pin it, okay? A lot of times when I try this, I can never come up and actually get anything off on the ground, but it's nice to do when we're transitioning just in case the opportunity presents itself. Okay, we're gonna move, big pull, stay there, stay there. Big pull, okay? I'm not just using, stay heavy, stay heavy. I'm not just using my arms here. I'm actively pushing off this leg to pull him, and then meet him, okay? It has to be exaggerated, especially when you're drilling, so that when you're competing, it actually works. Big pull, lock it in, okay? Once you're in this position, heel tuck that hand. If you want, you can do a kochi to get them to step back. Come back, step back. No, all the way back. There. And now you can roll them straight over the top, okay? Now let's talk about what the right leg is doing because it's a little different than other sumis. We're just gonna start here with a hook and we're gonna stay nice and loose so you can see. Turn this way. There. When we sit, okay, and we come through, my knee comes through this hole so that he's actually on the outside of my leg here, okay? And I get a good hook on the inside. Because I have so much leverage here with this grip, I can use my right hand to actively pull his head down so that he lands rested here on my shin. Come back. Pulling down and there. He's resting. Now, with my leg completely relaxed, now I can go to work and I can start lifting. Don't kick this too soon because you'll end up pushing him away. Use that right hand to pull him as hard down as you can. I'm not pressing up against his hand. I'm not trying to do an arm bar. I'm using the lock to pull him as hard as I can down. I really want to focus on bringing this shoulder to the mat. So when I have it locked, right, hold my body, there. My right hand can pull him straight down, nice and hard. We're in this position. When I sit here, I'm gonna sit back, stay up, 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 stay up. There, see I can pull him right here. I'm rolling my back to the floor to get him to come forward. Now that I've hit my end range, now I can start using my leg here for the finish. Okay, let's take a look at it one more time. We're gonna start here on the end of the sleeve. Big pull, lock it up, okay? If I want, I feel like this leg's in the way, I'm gonna bump him to go back. I'm gonna sit, leg comes through, roll them over, and then practice coming up to finish on the ground because transitioning is very important. But that's gonna be the basics of doing a Sumigaishi just from the sleeve. So now we're going to take a look at doing a slight combination that's really important for a couple of different reasons. While we have a good Uchimata, it's also important to pair it up with the Sumigaishi. Okay, so if it's not in your repertoire as of right now, I'm glad you're watching this because it should be. For a couple reasons. One, if he's standing square, having a good Uchimata is great, but also being able to change the direction for your more traditional versions of Sumi are really important. So what we're gonna do is look at how we can do this combination off a failed Uchimata attempt, meaning I've blasted in and my partner's kind of like gotten too heavy, and on my way out, I don't wanna come all the way out because then he has the opportunity to foot sweep me, to counter me, to take his own attack. So what I'm gonna do is on my way out, I'm gonna pull him towards me so that when I rotate, I can hit him with my Sumi. So what that looks like is this. I'm gonna have sleeve and neck, partner's gonna be right foot forward. As a righty, okay, we're gonna have the head down because we're dominating the position right now. I'm winning. But because he has that right leg forward, it can be difficult to really get a good solid attack off. So when we're in this position and we're moving around and we're trying to attack, we're gonna fire in Uchimata with the anticipation of it's not going to work. That doesn't mean I don't actually try as hard as I can to get it to work, right? I'm gonna fire in with my hips, boom, and it's like hitting the wall. When I come out, what I'm gonna do is drag my foot and then drag him. There. That way he follows, and as he follows, I can sit through for my sumi. So when we're in this position, let's go back a little bit. There we go. When we're in this position, bang, on my way out, pull, pull, roll. Okay? The more your partner kind of resists from the bent position, right? I don't want to do sumi, stand straight up and stay stiff. I don't want to do uchimata from here where he's all the way up and then try sumi because he's too tall. Normally we're going to dominate this position. I'm in a good solid gripping area and I have a good opportunity to score. I fire, bang, I can't get it. Boom. And then we can hit him on our way out, okay? Once he gets used to it, we can even speed it up. Where if his hips are square and I feel like I'm in this position, I can even go as far as, hold on with that here. I can even, nope, right on my elbow. There you go. And I'm in this position, even if he's on my collar and he's holding on like a real righty, head that way. There we go. Right before it a little bit. There. And I feel like I can step in. I might be able to just change that angle quickly because I can get the reaction off of the uchimata, okay? But the big thing we're working on right now isn't necessarily the basis of sumi. What I want to focus on is the actual footwork, okay? So let's go at an angle. There you go. Hands. Hands. There you go. So when I'm in this position, right foot forward, perfect, is my footwork. When I blast in, bang, I come out right here. I don't bring my weight out, I bring it down. There, now he's close to me so that I can go underneath him and then finish the throw. So again, we're here. I'm in a good solid position. Turn a little bit. I'm gonna blast him. Bang. I come out, bounce, down, and we hit him with the sumi. So let's take a look at this at another angle coming straight on so that you can see the positioning. Okay. We're here, okay. I have head position. When I fire in, bang. Okay, and I can move. I'm gonna fire in, turn over. There you go. We're gonna fire in, and then straight on. Never really coming out with my chest. That's the big thing. I wanna make sure you guys understand that I'm not firing, coming out, and then bouncing him, okay? I'm blending in the uchimata with the bounce uchimata by not quite coming out. I'm attacking, and then look, my chest never reopened because I'm waiting to enter and roll through. Here, we hit him, almost like I'm falling, right? Relax a little bit. Straight legs, straight on. Okay, sometimes when we're in this position, the easiest way to practice is to lift him straight in the air. Actually, let's do it this way. Is to just lift him with the uchimata, then hit him with the roll so that you can see that elevation, dropping him and falling out, and as he follows, you can drop in with a nice, clean Sumigaishi.